Hey, kia ora. Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Surprise in Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic, sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1669. Ooh, cross this one off. Yes. Benefits of yard work is what we're talking about tonight. So today I had to get out into my yard. The lawns needed mowing. I had weeds that were out there. I'd sprayed some the other day and they're all dead. But there was still some that hadn't been sprayed, and I'd actually chopped them all off the other day with the weed whacker. So I had to go and spray them all today. So I got my lawns mowed. I got out the weed whacker and did all the trimming. And my weed whacker and my blowy thing, the leaf blower, that's the one. They all run off a battery pack, a rechargeable battery pack. Unfortunately, I forgot to charge one of the battery packs. So one was fully charged, one was not. And I have a push mower. It does not have an engine on it. You just push and it does its thing. But it was getting jammed up on certain places. And I think it's because the grass was too thick in some areas. So, but we managed to get it all done. Weed whacker comes in handy for trimming the grass as well. But I was out there for about an hour, and that's all I did was just mow the lawn, did the trim, did all the trimming, and sprayed the weeds that I didn't spray the other day. Some of them are already looking like they're dead. Yes. I don't know, this stuff that I use is really, really cool. It's pet friendly, it's kid friendly. It's mainly got white vinegar in it. It smells like pickling brine is what it smells like. So I can handle that. But it's supposed to kill the weeds in like within 24 hours, and some of them are already dead or on their way to dying. When I looked at it, when we went out for our walk this evening. But I got out there and did that, and it was supposed to be rest and relaxation day, but the lawns had to get done, otherwise the HOA is going to complain, and whatever. Yeah, getting complaint letters from the HOA. If you don't get it done by here, we're going to charge you this amount of money, and then we're going to take legal action if you still don't correct it. So I'm like, whatever. So I sent them all off the photographs and everything, but it's done. But my got all the weed whacking done with the weed whacker, and then I put the battery pack onto the blower and took it out there, and it died within like 30 seconds. I'm like, great. So I go and put the other one on because I thought it still had pretty much of a charge on there. Got some of the blowing done, or at least I got most of the stuff off the sidewalk, and it died. So they're both on recharge right now. And so then I had to go get the broom out and sweep the pavement so that it looked nice and nobody could complain about it. And I just pushed all of the grass clippings back onto the grass and onto the gravel and that sort of stuff. So it kind of still looks a little messy out there, but at least it's tidy. And tomorrow morning, if I have time before I have to start work, I'll go out there with the blower and blow it all. And yeah, so the grass still has all the clippings on it and that sort of thing. So I'll have to rake them all up and put them in the thing. But I came inside and I was sort of like, hands were shaking, and I've been drinking water while I was out there, and it was only 69 degrees out there Fahrenheit. For those back in New Zealand, that's around 20 degrees Celsius, I think that's what it is. But got that done. But then I came inside and I was just shaking so much. I thought, I hate yard work. And I thought, no, there has to be some benefits to yard work. I know I am not the world's greatest gardener. That gene skipped me. But then I thought, why can't I learn gardening? Why can't I learn lawn care? I don't have a garden here, but I do have a couple of trees, and I hacked them up the other day and took off all the dead stuff anyway. So I thought, let's have a look at the benefits of doing yard work. What are some of the benefits? And so when I'm looking, some of this will include if you have a garden and that sort of thing as well. So physical exercise is the first benefit. Yard work is a great form of physical activity. I will tell you, yes. You get off that weed whacker thing and the blower and all that, and my hands are going like this by the time I get there, and I'm trying to take a drink of water with the hands going like this. And so like, wow. So as soon as I got inside, and it was pile in the electrolytes, and then it was just like sit, rest for a little bit, and then go take a shower, which is what I did. So that was kind of nice to have that shower afterwards, but there was no way I could have gone and stood in the shower at that point. It was, yeah, my body was just like screaming for electrolytes. So we put the electrolytes in there. But, it's a great form of physical activity. It involves various movements like bending and lifting and stretching and walking, which can help improve your strength and stamina. and flexibility. And so if you pull your core muscles in when you are bending over, like pull your belly button towards your spine as you're bending over, it can help with the core muscles as well. And just got a message from my CP son, from Tony. He says, "Oh my God, fly me out and I'll do it. I love to go outside gardening." It's okay. I don't have a garden. Oh, thank you for the hearts. Getting hearts over here on TikTok. Yes, I don't have a garden here at the moment. I have 2 palm trees in the front and a patch of grass. And then everything else is gravel, but I do have a weed farm in the backyard, which I haven't started yet. That's next weekend's job. But I have weeds in the backyard that are probably 2 feet high, anywhere from 1 foot to 2 foot high. So I have to go pull all of those, and they seem to be growing rather rapidly. But if I can't pull them, I'll get in there with a weed whacker, whack them all down, and spray them with this weed killer stuff. Zeffie likes to go sniffling in there. I don't know what she's doing in there, but yeah. So anyway, so physical activity, of course, releases endorphins. And as we know, endorphins are our natural mood lifters and help alleviate stress and anxiety. And no, I will not use Roundup. Roundup is very, very bad. Very, very, very bad. Very bad. It's yes, do not mention Roundup around me. He's sending me notes about what to do. Let's see. What did I say? Oh yeah, and of course we know that when you're happy, we know that it's happy. And if you watch Legally Blonde, we know that happy people just don't kill people. They just don't. Sorry, I love that movie. It's a mental health boost. Being outdoors and engaging with nature has shown to reduce stress, anxiety, and depression. The act of nurturing plants and seeing your garden thrive can provide a sense of accomplishment and boost your mood. Even just mowing the lawns and getting them trimmed so you can see all of the brick edging on the lawn, because I just have this little patch of grass, which is why I have a lawnmower that doesn't have an engine. I just use the push mower. And it's just got this brick outlay there. Well, it was completely covered in grass and weeds and stuff. So that's all clear now. You can see it, except for the grass clippings, but we'll take care of that. And around one of the palm trees, there was a lot of grass growing. So we got all that cut back and everything else. So it does look a lot tidier, and it felt good to accomplish that. So that was really, and it was a mood booster. Vitamin D exposure. Of course, that has to come in. Spending outside in the sunlight, and it was sunny today. Did I get any color today? Not really. It was a cloud. The sun was going in and out because it was a partially cloudy day today. But spending time outside in the sunlight increases your vitamin D levels, which is crucial for bone health, immune function, mood regulation. Just remember to apply sunscreen to protect your skin. Yeah, I keep forgetting the sunscreen thing. I come from New Zealand. Okay, now in New Zealand, back in the 80s, I want to say it was, I think Australia had the same commercial as New Zealand, and it was this duck, and the slogan was slip, slop, slap. Slip on a shirt, slap on a hat, and slop on some sunscreen. Slip, slop, slap. Yeah, slip on a shirt, slop on some sunscreen, and slap on a hat. And they would have this commercial running basically the entire summer. They would have it slip, slop, slap. Remember to say slip, slop, slap. Yeah, and I don't do sunscreen. I really don't. I know I'm probably bad not doing it, and people give me grief about it, but it's my body. My body is healthy. I have a very healthy immune system. So, yes, we're good on that. Improves concentration and creativity. Engaging in a repetitive task like weeding or planting can give your brain a break from daily stresses, allowing for better focus and creativity. Many people find they come up with creative solutions and ideas while doing yard work. Anything that will take your mind off your work, any task that you do, gardening, like they said, pulling weeds, planting seeds, making rows to put the seeds and stuff in. Even if you're inside, you're doing jigsaw puzzles, knitting, crochet, anything like that, that's a task that's hands, that doesn't require a lot of thinking, actually frees up a lot of the brain for creativity. I have come up with so many different ideas and book ideas and things while doing a task that doesn't require concentration, and the fact that it only requires just a little bit. Oh, I need to make this roast straight. The roast straight. Yep, we'll just put some seeds down here. Oh, yeah, I was thinking about that. That's right. There we go. So you start thinking of your mind just starts going on in different directions. That's why in the evenings when I'm sitting watching TV, if I'm sitting watching a TV, I may be crocheting or knitting or doing something with my hands because I have to keep my hands busy. So yes, definitely. Connection to nature. Yep. Yard work helps you develop a closer connection to the environment. The connection can foster a sense of belonging and peace, enhancing your overall well-being. I love being out in nature. I love being out in the forest. I love being, if there's a tree, I will hug it. Most of the time. Most of the time I'll hug a tree. But I do like being out in nature. It just grounds me. It gives me a sense of it gives me a sense of peace being hooked up with Mother Nature there. The aesthetic pleasure, the beauty of a well-maintained garden can be incredibly satisfying, and creating a space that looks and feels inviting can make a home more enjoyable and relaxing. Now, I do have to agree with that. My parents' gardens are awesome. I love when I go home to New Zealand. My mum's always telling me, oh, we're in the garden today. We're planting this, we're planting that. We pulled this out, we pulled that out. We did this, we did that. She's always telling me what they're doing in the garden. And their gardens look amazing. They've got these beautiful gardens at the front of the house. The backyard's got these gorgeous gardens in there. They have a little veggie area as well. It's just wonderful to walk out there. And she has, oh shoot, what is it? She has this bush. Its name's Helen. Camellia. She has a camellia bush out the back, and and the breed of it is called Helen. And so she'll tell me that Helen's flowering. What can I say? Educational opportunity. Gardening and yard work can be a continual learning experience. Discovering more about the plants, the soil, the ecosystem, and how they all interconnect can be fascinating and rewarding. Yes, I have learned stuff about gardening through my parents, even from my grandmother, my paternal grandmother. She had the magic touch when it came to African violets. You would walk up on her front porch, and she had this big, huge, square front porch, and when you're walking up to the house, there was all the house windows there, and then she had the front porch. There was this big window on the front porch there, and underneath that window, she had about 4 tiers, I think it was, of shelving that had African violets on. They were always, whenever we visited, they were always in flower. And my mum would get cuttings to take home of these African violets, but my mum could never get them to flower like my grandmother could. And I think we're not sure if it came down to the water or the soil. We're not exactly sure on that, but my grandmother's she had the touch when it came to African violets. But then she also had a really good garden too. There was some rose bushes in her garden, which just that rose smell as you walked up the drive. Oh, it was wonderful. Loved it. Mindfulness practice. So the focus required in gardening tasks, you can turn them into a form of mindfulness practice, keeping you present in the moment and reducing the feelings of overwhelm. Tried that one. I'd like to try that one next time I'm out there weeding. Social interaction. Often considered a solitary activity, gardening can also be social. Sharing tips with neighbors or gardening together with family or friends can enhance your sense of community. And I have seen neighborhoods come together to help clean up the yard of somebody who was ill and was unable to get out there. I have seen that happen. When I was in my youth group in my teenage years, we would have there was twice a year. It was either once or twice a year where the youth group came together, and we had a list of houses of people in the church where we went around and cleaned up their gardens and their yards for them. Like we'd mow the lawns, we'd trim the hedges, we'd trim the bushes, we'd weed the gardens, and we would go and do that as part of our community service. But also, it was also as a fundraiser as well, because the people that we went to were those that were that lived in their home who had some difficulty, like a chronic illness, they had a terminal illness, they were disabled, different things. But people from the church would donate money to us so that we had the supplies to go and do these gardens and things. It was a lot of fun. We'd have a great day. We'd come home absolutely exhausted. Yeah, I always sleep well on those nights. But it was a lot of fun. We had great fun, and the people whose yards that we did were so appreciative. And we would spend like an hour at one person's place cleaning everything up, and there was like about 30 of us. So we could go in and some people in the church would put us down and say, we will donate X number of dollars if you come and do our yard. So it wasn't just those in the church that needed the assistance. There were also others that, as a fundraiser, would turn around and say, hey, come to our yard and we'll pay you this. So we were doing like, I think we'd spend like an hour at one place and get in the cars and go over to the next place. And we had this little map worked out for the most efficient route to get to where we needed to go. But it was a lot of fun. So yeah, social interaction. Environmental benefits. On a broader scale, maintaining your garden supports local ecosystems, provides habitats for wildlife, and contributes to cleaner air and soil. I'm all for the cleaner air and soil. Wildlife, happy to welcome the birds in. Things like snakes and scorpions and rodents and those pesky ones, you can just bypass my property. But birds, you're welcome. In fact, we've watched birds. We don't have any trees in our backyard, but there is a tree over on the corner back fence, and there's another tree over the other fence on this side. And we've watched birds playing backwards and forwards, just flying backwards and forwards across our yard in the two trees. And they were playing games of chase. It was really cool to watch them. You can actually increase your property value. A well-maintained yard can significantly enhance the curb appeal and overall value of your property. Even simple landscaping efforts can make a big difference when it comes to how your home is perceived by others. And it's true. How many times have you gone down a street and you've seen the yards that are overgrown and you're like, oh, not sure about this neighborhood, because you've judged it on the landscaping that you've seen. Let's see, cognitive benefits. Engaging in gardening and yard work has been linked to reduced risk of dementia for older adults. I don't know how true that is. It came up when I was researching, so I'm just putting it in there. The combination of physical activity, cognitive stimulation, and social interaction provided by gardening can contribute to this positive effect, protective effect. I'm not 100% sure on that one. Don't take my word on it. It's just one that I found in the lists of things. Stewardship of the environment. By choosing native plants and sustainable gardening practices, you contribute to the health of your local ecosystem. This can include supporting pollinators, conserving water through xeriscaping, and reducing the need for chemical fertilizers and pesticides. I do not use any chemical pesticides. The ones that I have are all natural. I have a dog to take care of, and I don't want her running around having to keep her inside because we've got pesticides out there and we've got to give them, 48 hours before she's allowed back out in the yard again. Yeah, no. So we've got ones that are natural, and you just got to wait for them to dry and then she's free to roam. And I don't use chemical fertilizers either. If I have gardens, when Brad was alive, we did have little gardens. He wanted to grow tomatoes, so he grew tomatoes. But he made sure that he did natural fertilizers and pesticides on them to help. And when we had our place back in Virginia, we had gardens there as well. And we used natural wherever we could. We used natural fertilizers and pesticides. Again, we had a dog at the time, so taking that into account as well. Plus, not putting those chemical fertilizers and pesticides into the air or into the ground is really, really good for good for health of the soil. Food security. For those who grow vegetables and fruits, gardening can contribute to food security. Having access to fresh homegrown produce can reduce grocery bills and ensure that you have healthy options. I have to tell you, I totally agree with this one. Growing up, my parents had vegetable gardens, and there was nothing. I mean, they didn't have to worry about snacks for us kids. If we got hungry during the day, if we were out the back and we're playing in the backyard or something, we wouldn't go in and pester mum for snacks or anything. We'd just go to the veggie garden and we'll pull a tomato off and eat it, or we'd break off a celery stalk. We'd wash it out underneath the garden tap and just munch on it. And then, of course, if we needed a drink, we'd pick up the garden hose and have a drink. And Mum wasn't worried at all because she knew we were getting good things and would carry on playing. Although, don't give me celery now. I cannot stand celery now. Totally hate celery. But any of the and one of my favorite ones was taking the pea pods off the pea vines and splitting the pods open and taking the peas out and eating them raw. I loved those. Oof, those were so good. So I totally agree with that. And we always had really good veggie gardens, and Mum and Dad would grow things like tomatoes and carrots and radishes and pumpkins and celery. And in some places we had a passion fruit vine. Another place we had they had the vines set up and we had peas and beans on there. It was green beans. We had dwarf beans, rhubarb. What else do we have in there? We had a lot of really good stuff in there. It was really cool to And of course, one of our jobs was we had to go weed. Yes, Helen had to learn the difference between plants and weeds. Yes. Stress relief through sensory engagement. Yard work engages all of the senses in a way that can be deeply relaxing and meditative. The feel of the soil and the scent of freshly cut grass, the sound of birdsong, the sight of blooming flowers, and even the taste of homegrown fruits and vegetables can all contribute to stress relief and mental rejuvenation. Yeah, I would have to agree with that one. Definitely. In New Zealand, we didn't wear gardening gloves. We just stick our hands in the soil. Got to pull a weed out, pull it out. Let's get your hands in there, dig with your hands and pull the thing out. Here in the States, I've worn gloves every time. Yeah, just because of the different soils and stuff like that. Let's see. And hearing the birds and, being in a garden where you've got birds, and my parents have different trees around them. So they get a lot of New Zealand native birds in the area. And there's times that I'll just go and stand outside and just listen and just stand there. And my dad will come and go, "What are you doing?" I go, "Shh." He goes, "What are you doing?" And I go, "I'm listening for the tui." New Zealand has this really cool bird, it's the tui. It has a beautiful melody. And it actually has different ones, but just has this one that I love hearing every time I go home. And I would just go stand outside and just listen. Because nothing like, people that have plants that attract the native birds in, and you get to hear their beautiful songs and everything else. Love that. Which again is very, very thing. Freshly cut grass. Oh my gosh, the smell of freshly cut grass. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Used to, when we go to schools and stuff, they'd been out mowing the lawns and things with the tractors, with their big tractor thingies that they would mow the schoolyards with, and just to go out there and just go and get that fresh cut grass smell. Oh, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Blooming flowers, absolutely. Over here in the States, my sinuses don't like them too much because allergies, but we still love a look of a good garden. I love going for walks through like botanical gardens and things like that, greenhouses, where you can get to see all the public gardens where you get to see all the beautiful flowers and things in the springtime, and then going in through the greenhouses in the wintertime and things like that. Absolutely awesome. Improve sleep. Physical activity associated with gardening can help improve your sleep patterns. After a day spent in the garden, you may find it easier to fall asleep and enjoy a more restful night's sleep, thanks to both the physical exertion and the mental peace that gardening can provide. And when I saw this one, I had to think about that. And I thought, yeah, every time I've gone out and mowed the lawns and pulled the weeds and stuff, I've come in, I've slept really good that night. So this is why I think I might look into gardening, even though the gene missed me. The gardening gene in our family missed me. There's no reason why I can't learn. Although I have been known to kill plants. My mother, every time she comes over, will rescue whatever house plants I have. Opportunity for family bonding. Yard work can be an excellent activity for family bonding. Working together on a project, whether it's planting a new garden, maintaining the lawn, or building a birdhouse, can create lasting memories and teach valuable life skills to children. Totally and utterly agree with this one. Absolutely. As a family, when we would all be out in the yard, we'd all be assigned our tasks and we'd all help clean up the yard. And it meant that, basically we were kind of bribed. If you get this done, we'll, get this done quickly, then we can go and have an ice cream, or we can go out, or go to the park or whatever. Ethical bribes. Totally, the sooner we get this done, the sooner you can have an ice cream. The sooner we get this done, the sooner you can go play in the park. The sooner you get this done, the sooner you can go hang out with your friends. Ethical bribes. Bribery and corruption works every time. Resource management skills. Believe it or not, you can actually learn resource management skills. Gardening and yard maintenance require the management of resources such as water, soil, and compost. This can teach valuable lessons in sustainability, conservation, and the importance of nurturing our environment. Totally agree. Absolutely. Personal growth, and the last one we've got on the list is personal growth and learning. Gardening offers endless opportunities for personal growth and learning, from mastering the art of composting to understand the intricacies of plant care. Gardening can be a lifelong journey of discovery. Yep, I can see that. I definitely have not had a lifelong learning of, but if I get the right place, there just might be some gardening in my future, although I'd probably have to have a landscaper come in just to double check all my work. No, I can do this. There's a reason that I'm having to learn how to take care of lawns. My job as a teenager was I used to have to mow our yard, and it was a quarter acre that we had, about a quarter acre that we had. And I had a self-drive lawnmower. Basically, you had to squeeze, there was 2 handles and you had to squeeze them together, and then it would just go off and you just had to steer this thing and just walk along behind it and steer it. But I did have, most of the time my dad did make me put the catcher on the back, so I did have to stop to empty that. But he would tell me where to put the catcher, put the clippings, because he may want it on the garden that they could spread around. And he says, pile it here, and he'd tell me where to pile the different loads of the catcher, or it could be throwing it in the compost heap, which got done as well. So yes, mowing lawns, I definitely learned about that. I did not learn about lawn care though, like fertilizing the lawn, watering it, that sort of stuff. When we had our lawns back east, Brad was in charge of all of that. Let's see, when we got to California, the places that we rented, in one place we didn't have to worry about the yard care because we just had this little patio. We were in this 55 plus community and had this little patio area, and that was basically all we had to take care of. And all the grounds and the gardens were taken care of by the community, by the homeowners community thing. And then the place that we had in Solana Beach, there was a landscaper that came in. The gardener came in once a week and took care of the lawns and the gardens. And yeah, so now I'm actually having to learn about lawn care, about how often I need to mow it, how often I need to water it, how much water to give it. It's a learning process. There's a lot to learn with that. And maybe I should have paid more attention when Mum and Dad were in the yard and trying to teach us kids things about gardening. I think I should have taken more notice. Yes. But that's okay. I'm going to learn now. I'm going to learn about gardening, even though I don't have a garden. Yes, this one here, I've got rocks. I've got this little patch of grass surrounded by thing, and then it's all rocks, and then there's a couple of trees out front. And then out the back, we just have rocks everywhere. And then we have the planter box, which is empty. And Zeffie likes to get into that and run because there's no rocks there to hurt her feet. So she likes to get into that and run, but it's kind of being overtaken by weeds right now. So I have to get out the back there and pull weeds. So that'll be next weekend's job. So that's it from us for today. What is it that, when you're outside doing the yard work, what is it that you love about the yard work? Did we miss anything on this list that you could turn and say, well, she totally forgot about mentioning this? I like that when it happened, when I'm out gardening. I did learn one thing though. I did have my headphones in, and this one plugs into my phone because of the type of headphones they are. The pods don't work in my ears. I've got weird-shaped ears. And so these have pods that fit, but they're corded, so it plugs into the thing. And I did discover if you bend, and I have a pouch thing that I wear on my that folds over the waistband of my pants or skirt, and it's magnetized, and it holds it there very, very well. And there's a little zipper thing on the end that you can plug the headphones in. And so I did that, and I'm out in the garden there, and I'm got my 80s rock going on. I'm out there dancing and singing in the front yard. Goodness knows what the neighbors think. I don't care. But when I bent over in a certain way, the volume would suddenly go up because the way I was pressing on this pouch, it would hit the volume button, and all of a sudden it's like, ah! So there were times the neighbors, I'll be sitting down and all of a sudden go, drop everything, pull the headphones out because it was too loud, and then turn it back down again. So yeah, be cautious of that one. But that's it from us for this evening. Go out and have a super fantastic sparkling evening. We're now off to figure out what we're going to do for dinner tonight. So yes, have a super fantastic sparkling evening. We'll catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific. Hey, konera.